Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are lucky enough to be here for the April 2019 PracticeMaster Virtual User Group meeting from Attorney Computer Systems, where today we're going to talk about eNote options. Mary Jo is going to take that topic right there, and I am going to talk about timer preferences. Without any further ado, I'm going to hit all the magic buttons. And I say that like I know what magic buttons to hit, but I'm going to find them, and I'm going to hit them, and I'm going to get us out to a point where we are in PracticeMaster, and Mary Jo can talk about what we are talking about. And I'm looking here, Mary Jo. Do you see this? Did I forget? Nope, there it is. I didn't forget. There's PracticeMaster. Go to it, Mary Jo.
Okay, I'll go to it. All right. So we are going to talk about eNote and eNote preferences and the options that we have to change those. So I'm going to zoom my screen just a little bit here so I can see it. There we go. So what we have for eNotes, it's a platinum only feature. So whenever you get an eNote or somebody sends you one or you send one to them, there's certain preferences that we can set to manage how that's done. Now we're in version 19. And eNotes can be found down here on your toolbar menu over in the taskbar. And we have and I'm sorry, we don't have them loaded. All right, let me go into eNotes. Let's just go to eNotes here. And I'm not seeing them there. Hold on a minute. Let me get out of my screen is so small, Paul. I'm going to try to change my ratio. I'm sorry, hold on 1 second because I can't quite see my buttons. Get to window, that's better. All right, so eNotes, let's see if we can't get into those. eNotes, I don't know that I can get to them from here. Am I able to? No. Well, that doesn't help us, does it, Paul? We should have our eNotes just right on this bar down here. Got our Dropbox. Yep, go ahead. Paul's gonna fix it. Just go over to eNotes. Yeah. Once you open it, we should get it. I thought we were in it earlier.
We were, and I'm wondering if we did something weird.
Did we say not on top? Well, let me go into my preferences. I'm going to go over this way. We're just going to go around the bout here. So if you just go under maintenance and preferences, we do have eNote preferences over here. So we're going to go ahead and take care of it from this side, but you should be able to get to it and just right click on your eNotes and get to it that way. But I'm going to go in this way. So there's our eNote preferences. So these are the things that you can control for your eNote. So you can disable the eNote at PracticeMaster Startup by checking that box so that you're not even getting eNotes at all. You can say that they're always on. You can minimize them to the tray and until you've got it dismissed. You can send them, including the original eNote when reply. So it's just like kind of if you reply to an email, if you want to include the email that you're replying to, you can do that. And by just unchecking and checking things here, you can do that. You can save your sent eNotes. And then you can also have the things here for your receiving. Do you want it to pop up? I'm going to have to change my view again because I can't read these. Hold on, I apologize. It's like so small. There we go. Now I can do it. So pop up for new eNotes. So it'll just pop up on your screen to show you that you've got a new one. So you can do it that way. Or you can balloon it. You can just have a little balloon pop up down here at the bottom. You can automatically show the newest email, and you can even change the sound that you want it to say or make when you receive an eNote. And you can listen to those on your own. I don't know that they'll come through on our webinar, so I'm not going to play them. But you can. There's some choices here that you can go to, and you can pick the sound that you want it to play. And then once you've selected the settings that you would like, these are for your settings. These are individual to you. You can go ahead and say OK, and you can save those. So that's going to go ahead and give you that option. Yeah, I don't have my eNote down here, so I don't know if I can get to the other, because you can also put yourself on Do Not Disturb so that you can, and I need to get into it. Can you send me one maybe, or do we have to?
I'm going to take us out of here, Mary Jo, and I'm going to get us right back in.
And I'm going to reduce your email. Or
I'm not entirely certain where they've gone.
I know. We had it. We did practice this, I promise.
We were planning.
We don't just do this sometimes off the cuff. We did practice.
Sometimes we do, but we won't go
We actually did practice this today.
We're just going to go right back in.
Let's see if we can get them. So maybe it's loaded. So you logged in somewhere else. I wonder if that's why.
What?
Do you know what? When you did that, you have to say that you want to get them.
I'm gonna actually go back out. I'm gonna come in as Pam. We're gonna be Pam today.
That will be better.
That's what's wrong. We have other people that are in this system working throughout the day to, support people. It's what we use to see things. And so if we go here now, it's still not there. But one more thing. Let me go in here. Let me just send Pam an eNote. Pam. We're going to send an eNotify to Pam. Pam doesn't have access to eNotes.
Just go in as blank.
We're going to go in as blank. Okay.
Go in as blank user. See, even we have technical difficulties now and then. You got to love it. That's what we're here for.
You're exactly
right. Just to show you we're just like you all.
Oh, look.
There's an
eNote. The
eNote.
blank user has an eNote.
All right, there we go. All right, so there are, your settings can also be found in the eNote itself. So here are our eNote preferences in here. And then if you want to see your eNotes, your list, that's also in the eNote pop-up here, so you can see your sent and all of that. You can send eNotes from here and manage things from here. All your eNotes, you can go over here on quick clicks and show if you want your received, your sent. All of those things are always there. You can get that information. I'm going to come down here now to the bottom. I still don't see it on our window, so I'm not sure.
Well, no, it's going to be up here.
There. Is it there now? There we go. Maybe I was looking at the wrong one all along.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was the user thing.
So if you are down here in your tray, on the little arrow up, it's the little message-looking box. And if we right-click on that, from that one, did it pop up there? I can't right-click. There we go. So if we click on that, you get another list of options. So you can either read an eNote, you can open the eNote list, or start a new eNote from here. But this is where you can set whether or not you're online and are able to receive eNotes, whether you're away, or do not disturb. So you can set that information right from your toolbar, so that if you're on a call or you're in a meeting and you don't want those things to pop up on your screen, you can tell it to do not disturb. And then your preferences are also able to be gotten to from that window. So lots of places you can go, either under maintenance, you can go down and get into your eNote preferences that way. You can get into them from this window down here, or even in the eNotes window itself at the top, you can also get into it there. So just a couple of things there, so you can set those preferences, set your sound that you want. All of those things are there for you to help that be more user-friendly for you.
And as long as we've done such a fine job of demonstrating it, we might as well explain that if you are logged in somewhere and then somebody else logs in as you, then you're still going to be getting the eNotes, but they have an option when they log in as you to take that away. That's what happened here, is that we logged in as Ron, but somebody else was already logged in as Ron, and we didn't exercise our option to take away the receiving and seeing of eNotes from that person. That's what's going on there. So be careful if you ever log in at a different machine, just real quick to show somebody something. When it says, hey, you're currently receiving eNotes someplace else, do you want to start receiving them here? You'd say no, because you're really just there for that short while, and when you go back to your desk, you still want them to be loaded there.
That's correct.
Now, I'm going to talk about a different set of preferences. I'm going to talk about the timer. So in tabs, or in PracticeMaster, you have this thing called the timer. I've got mine set to be very small. It's really just a window that you can make as wide or as tall as you want by simply using these options here to resize it. But there are some preferences that you can set that are kind of cool. If I right-click on this menu bar of my timer, I have the option to go into preferences, and when I do, this is what I get. Now, some of the preferences have to do with automatically starting the timer and automatically creating and editing journal records. So do you, when you start a timer record, do you want it to automatically start the timer? When you start a phone note, do you want it to automatically pop up and start the timer? And when you start a research note, which is a way of taking a web page and creating a journal record of that web page, do you automatically want to start a timer? I'll tell you that most people leave these off. One nice thing about the timer is that it lets you decide when you're going to time. So just so you understand, the timer is triggered with this little button here. These are my timer records. These are the things I'm doing right now that I still have not converted to fee entries because I'm in the middle of them and I'm kind of jumping back and forth. And I can switch the timer by simply clicking here, and I got to get out of the preferences real quick. I can click here and start my timer. And while I'm working on this, this pleading for Mr. Williams, I might get interrupted by that call I've been waiting for regarding the Peterson insurance file, and I can merely click there and then go back to the other. And so what this is asking us when it asks if we want to automatically start the timer is when we start a new journal record, a new timer record, do we want it to start the timer or do we just want to control that on our own? Most people leave these off. Same thing with journal records. Most people will go to a journal record when they are doing something not automatically. They want to manually go to that record and open it up. Always on top, I'm not a big fan of that. I'll show you what it does. When it's always on top, I can click on an underlying screen. Maybe I'm going to switch to this web page, and I can still click on that screen or go back to PracticeMaster, but this is always on top. I guess I have a few clients that do like that, but I'm going to show you a different way. When you do that, usually what you do then is you drag it over out of the way, and so it's always there. You can always see it no matter what you're doing behind it. And that, I suppose that has its utility, but I'm more of a fan of not always being on top, but knowing how to get back to it quickly. So I'm going to turn off the always on top, and then I'm going to show you what I do. Oops, always on top. Back. So now with it not always on top, of course, when I click on PracticeMaster, it's going to go away. And if I click on some other window, it's still going to be away until I bring it back. Now, when you hover over the PracticeMaster icons, you'll notice that the eNotes are a separate program. That's why we had a little trouble getting them to come up. The timer is a separate program, and PracticeMaster itself is a separate program. So I'm a big fan of simply when you want to see what the timer's looking at, you pull it up that way, and when you want to go back to what you're doing, you go back without it being on top. And then, of course, clicking on this will take you back to a place where you can see all your PracticeMaster windows, including that timer. Now take a look right here. We can see that this timer is currently running. It just crossed the 3-minute mark, and it's the John Williams matter that's being timed. That is controlled. Let me get the window up with the preferences again. That is controlled by this thing called the title bar. And in the title bar, you can put things like client ID, client name, work description, contact. Let's say we just wanted to see the time in the work description. So get back here. And now when I hover over State versus Williams, that's the work description for that matter that I am currently running a timer for. And again, the timer is about to cross the 4-minute mark. So you can show all those things in your title bar, and that can be quite helpful because it'll also show here in its taskbar representation of the program, so you can know exactly what's going on without having to switch back to the timer. So maybe you can be in the middle of doing something in PracticeMaster and go, wait a minute, did I switch to the Williams timer, or am I still on the KeggleMaster timer? And I can see right there that it's the State versus Williams timer, and I'm fine. I don't even have to go back to the timer. I can just leave myself in the PracticeMaster screen. Let's get back into these preferences real quick and see what else we can find in there. I think that's pretty much it, but let's jump in. Okay, and then we can also mess with the column widths. So I'm going to set them back to their default. just so you can see what they start at. And so now when I go back into the timer, these are my default columns right here. Now, be careful to get these the way you want them. Some people don't care about client ID at all, so I would recommend just making it so small you can't even see it. Some people don't really care about the type either. You can get rid of those. You can make the client name bigger. You don't have any control over where they are, so you need to make them sized in such a way that in the order that they're showing, they give you the information that you need most prevalent when you pull this up. You might want to make description longer, even though when you go down to a smaller screen, you might not see all of it. So you want to get your columns set up the right way. You want to get into your preferences and set up whether it's on top and whether or not you're showing these things in the title bar and what you're showing, and get your columns set the way you want them, and that should be good for you. One other thing is that you can, by right-clicking here, you can open up a separate timer window. So if you really wanted to have two open so that, yeah, they're both running simultaneously. You see how I started that, and we've got this one for this, and we've got this one for this, and we're running two timers. I can't do that without a separate window open. If I get out of here and go back to the original, and I switch here, you'll notice what it does is it stops the other timer and starts the timer that I'm clicking on. So I can't think of many times when people would use that, but I know that I have had a couple instances where clients have used that for some unique situations. And that's that. Next month, we are going to talk about the visual timer display. So you may have noticed that in here, right there. But Mary Jo's going to take that topic and she's going to talk about that next month. And I'm going to talk about our brand new NetDocuments integration. And so I'm going to mention that we are still looking for people that have NetDocuments. As of right now, it is the 29th of April in 2019. So if you're watching a recorded webinar, it may not be true that we're still looking. But right now, on the 29th of April in 2019, we are still looking for people to test the pre-release copy of the NetDocuments integration. Now, I have that, so no matter whether or not they get done with their pre-release testing by next month or not, we're going to show it and we're going to talk about it. So, but just to say, if anybody is interested in testing that right now, it's we've worked with it a little bit here and it's very solid. You wouldn't have any trouble with it. So if you're ready to use it and you want it now, let me know. Send an email to me, or you can just send an email to pre-release@tabs3.com and say, I would like to beta test or pre-release test the NetDocuments integration. And again, that'll be our second topic for next month. And if you've been here before, you know I can't let you go without showing you that if you go to our website, which is attorneycomputersystems.com, being careful to pay attention to that last S in the word systems, because without it, you won't get to the right place. And if you either hover over or click on this word videos in the menu, you're going to get to descriptions of all the video titles that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that word, and there we go. This is everything we have in the video library. These are our 6 titles. 4 of them are live events. You know what the virtual user group meetings are because you're in one. We have 3 of them. We have the, of course, PracticeMaster virtual user group meeting, but we also have one for Tabs 3 and one for World Docs. And then I have my monthly webinar series called the Coffee Pot. You know what the VUGs are, the virtual user group meetings. The Coffee Pot is where we invite somebody in from a company that has an add-on product, something extra that enhances the value or adds functionality to one of the core products that we work with, Tabs 3, PracticeMaster, or World Docs. So last month, for instance, we had somebody from PageVault, who, which is a company that captures web content for use in trial. Very, very innovative, very cool product. and can hook right into PracticeMaster and World Docs. So that's why we brought them in. Then we also have 2 pre-recorded video titles. Mary Jo has her eBytes video series. These are short 2 or 3 minute videos where we take something really cool that we can explain very quickly and concisely, and we record a 2 or 3 minute video about it. Mary Jo records 3 of these each month, 1 on tabs, 1 on PracticeMaster, and 1 on World Docs. Then for things that can't be explained in 2 or 3 minutes, but that we want to explain, we have our Paul and Mary Jo show, where either I or Mary Jo will take a topic and spend 10 or 15 or sometimes even 20 minutes getting into the weeds, if you will, getting into the intricacies of the full depth of whatever it is that we're talking about that needs a little bit more explanation. So there you have it. We have somewhere between 800 and 900 videos on our website. We make 9 or 10 more of them each month. We have a lot of content that people say is good. So I guess I'll have to take their word for it. It's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Please take advantage of it. And that's it for today, everybody. Have a good rest of the day and a good rest of the month, and we will see you in May. Thanks. Bye-bye.